The Time's Come to Play by Aqua Rabbit. Come, little children, I'll take thee away. They say the forest on the edge of Musutafa is haunted. No one old enough to know better dared to go near it. They say if you go too far into the woods, a voice will begin singing, and once you hear the song, you'll never be seen again. Several children go missing when they go to play in the woods. Parents always tell their sons and daughters to never go there alone, but not all choose to listen. Izuku Midoriya and his childhood friend, Katsuki Bakugo, first heard the rumor of the haunted forest from some older kids. The older boys were just trying to scare the two boys, but for Bakugo, the future hero, it appeared to him to be a challenge. The two boys were always allowed to wander around their neighborhood by themselves, as long as they were together. But the neighborhood bordered the haunted forest, so one day, Izuku and Katsuki found themselves standing in front of the haunted forest. Come on, Deku! If you really want to be a hero, go in there by yourself. Izuku glanced between his friend and the forest. To the young boy, it seemed like a normal patch of woods. Nothing as scary as the older boy had spoken about. There was even a faded pathway that looked like someone had walked on recently. But because it seemed so normal, Izuku paused. Izuku didn't want to say it to Katsuki, in case his friend started to make fun of him. But those rumors scared him. The small green-haired boy had even asked his mother about the forest, and she had begged him to never go near the woods. What are you two, chicken? Guess you'll never become a hero. Izuku bit his lip at his friend's rude tone. I'm not scared. I'm as brave as All Might. Izuku walked towards the pathway, not sparing Katsuki a glance. As Izuku stepped into the woods, an eerie silence fell upon him. It was as if all birds had stopped their song. The young boy looked back to see Katsuki, still standing there at the entrance of the woods. The blonde boy was smirking at Izuku, almost as if he was waiting for the green-haired child to come running back scared. So Izuku turned back to the forest, putting on a brave face. He had to be brave, like All Might. The further Izuku walked, the quieter and colder the woods got. The trees above him seemed to loom over him, their branches almost reaching for him. Every step he took felt heavier than the first. Izuku's heart began to beat too fast in his little chest, and soon tears began to run down his frail cheeks. But then he heard it. Come, little children, I'll take thee away. A sweet melody, a voice, almost like his mother singing his favorite lullaby, came drifting through the trees, and made all of his terror fade away. Izuku found himself walking towards the voice, as if his body was moving on his own. It felt like someone had grabbed a hold of his arm and was guiding him along. Into a land of enchantment. The song continued, welcoming him into the woods. The trees around him were no longer looming and trapping him, but guiding the young boy towards the haunting voice. The time's come to play. But Izuku never noticed the world around him starting to shift. The shadows began to stretch longer, the trees blurring around him, the path behind him disappearing. The song grew louder with each step towards it, the soothing voice urging him closer. Here in my garden of magic. The notes sank into his mind, making it hard to think, almost like his mother's warm arms wrapping around him, comforting him after a nightmare. The melody was promising peace, whispering comfort. Izuku had no choice but to follow the voice and disappeared into the trees. Come, little children, I'll take thee away. Katsuki stood impatiently at the edge of the woods. He actually didn't think Deku would last this long. The little wimp surprised him for once. But the minutes grew longer, and the explosion quirk user actually found himself worried. Deku! Katsuki walked a little closer to the path, but he stopped just before crossing into the woods. Something felt wrong. It felt like something was watching him. The more he stared into the darkness of the forest, it felt like something was trying to pull him forward. Deku, this isn't funny anymore! For it felt like the first time in his life, Katsuki felt absolute terror. He did not want to step onto that path or go into the woods. As much as he wanted to become a hero, Katsuki could not find it in him to step forward into the forest. So he turned on his heel and went running for his home. Night fell soon as the adults tried to go searching into the woods. Even when the next day came, no one could find any sign of Izuku. There were no footprints, no scraps of clothing. Even search dogs couldn't find his scent. It was as if Izuku Midoriya had simply vanished, swallowed whole by the forest. Days turned into weeks, then months, and Izuku Midoriya became nothing more than a name spoken in hushed tones, a tragedy wrapped in a mystery. For years, Katsuki would never speak of the forest, or even of Izuku. He would never admit how often he would return to the edge of the cursed woods, just trying to listen for a sound, a voice, just something that maybe could prove that Izuku was still out there. Sometimes he swore he saw glimpses of a small figure with curly green hair, just barely visible in the darkness of the woods. But then it was always gone before he could take a second look. But the young hero will never tell anyone of the song he would often hear in quiet moments, even when he was far away from the woods. A lullaby sang out to him in a voice he would never forget, Izuku's voice, that would try to pull him back to the edge of the woods. Come, little children, the time's come to play. Come play catch-up. And that was the end of this lovely fic. I apologize for my singing because that can't be good. Anyways, I hope you enjoyed this, and thank you very much to the author for letting me podfic it. There is, as always, a link in the description. You should go give the fic some kudos, because it most definitely does not have enough. And anyways, have a very nice rest of your day.